Hello, my name's Mighty Mike, and today we're going to watch Crypto, the World's Greatest Scam by James Janney. It's a long one, so we're not going to watch the whole thing together, and if you want to watch the whole thing, then go down into the description because there's going to be a link down there, and let's go ahead and get right into it.
What you're looking at, depending on who you ask, is either a revolution for the internet and countless industries as we know it,
Like, in all seriousness, I compare it to the internet.
or the greatest Ponzi scheme in human history.
The whole thing is a promise that you can get rich for free.
Accused of being all of these things is the world of cryptocurrencies, or the other labels associated with it. NFTs, blockchains, Web 3.0. From the bizarre onslaught of celebrity promotions and endorsements,
I got an ape too.
Part of the same community. We're both apes.
to the eye-watering numbers and headlines,
Digital artist Beeple, the final bid, $69 million.
Oh my god.
to the grandiose claims about its potential.
It's the biggest technology that's ever happened in the history of life.
I once
First of all, I'd like to say that not all crypto projects are built equivalently, obviously. There are cryptocurrency projects that are here that are built just to try to save us from tyranny, basically like Cardano. Charles Hoskinson has made sure that all of the developments on the Cardano network were solid and decentralized so that nobody would be able to take over the network and abuse our rights. And obviously, as many people know, Bitcoin was made pretty much for that same reason as well, to be a permissionless and immutable ledger. But there's always going to be people that'll take advantage of the technology and make all kinds of money manipulating the ideas that cryptocurrency was built on and actually just trying to do a cash grab. This is why people say that you have to do your own research, because it's really important, and there's a lot of people out there that will just take your money.
described the world of cryptocurrencies as a story, and I did that in hopeful, optimistic tones. And now I don't think it's the story that I initially thought it was.
They only make money because some other sucker
Sounds like somebody bought in at the top.
lost more.
Have fun staying poor.
For me and many others, it began here. What you're looking at is a piece of artwork by a digital artist called Michael Joseph Winkelmann, otherwise known as Beeple. On February the 25th of 2021, this artwork was put on auction. It eventually sold for $69.3 million, making it one of the biggest sales in digital art history.
How is it that Beeple made that big of a sale? Had anybody ever heard of Beeple before that? Whenever the whole thing happened, I was under the assumption that he was some kind of famous artist that I just had never heard of for some reason, and then he just made this big sale because he was the first person to break into the market, and everybody knew who he was already anyway. But from what I've heard, I believe that somebody that he knew actually had a bunch of money and they were running some kind of grift, and they bought his NFTs and then sold it to somebody else, using arbitrage to make a bunch of money or somehow laundering the money or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm pretty sure that it wasn't just a legitimate sale. Maybe he's going to talk more about that here in a minute.
Founder of Twitter sells a picture of his first ever tweet as an NFT.
Jack Dorsey auctioning his first tweet as digital art.
$2.9 million. Even popular internet memes were selling as this NFT thing. Nyan Cat, $590,000. Charlie Bit My Finger, $760,999. Disaster Girl, $500,000. Doge, $4 million. Overly
I heard that some of the money from the Doge sale actually went to the owner of Kabosu, which is the original dog in the Doge meme. But I wonder how much of the money from these NFT sales actually went to the people that were in the meme or the people that created them in the first place.
attached girlfriend, $411,000. Bad Luck Brian, $36,000. Scumbag Steve, $57,000. You had singer-songwriter Grimes selling $6 million worth of digital art as NFTs.
Well, of course, she was with Elon Musk, and he was a cryptocurrency meme guide, especially while we were going up to the moon. And I feel like it was honestly just a cash grab on many people's part, which is an unfortunate part of cryptocurrency. While there are some legitimate projects, a lot of it is just people seeing that there's a mania going on, and they're just trying to make a quick dollar. I'm pretty sure Grimes was no different. She was just taking advantage of the situation and her relationship with Elon Musk to get a foot in the door with the cryptocurrency community and make a quick $6 million.
People were changing their profile pictures on social media to NFTs that they had purchased. It was like flexing an expensive car or a watch. And then suddenly, all these big celebrities and artists and influencers were also replacing their profile pictures with NFTs and announcing their own purchases of NFTs. And the apes were part of this bigger project of NFTs called Bored Ape Yacht Club.
This is a good example of one of those cash grabs. There was some kind of situation among all of the celebrities where they all got sponsored by the people who were promoting Bored Ape Yacht Club, and they all made a whole bunch of money. But I don't believe that artwork like this is going to be the real future of NFTs. I think it's going to be mostly used in commerce to track stuff like products, because if you attach basically an NFT number to anything, then you can track it across any supply chain route and make sure that there's not really any lost product or make up for it. Also, you could make real estate or cars or anything like that an NFT, and then you can see all of the things that have gone wrong with the house or the car and all of the maintenance that was performed, and make sure that if it's a car that it got its oil change every 3,000 miles. I'm sure some of the art is going to be worth a little bit, or maybe even some of it's going to be worth a lot, like the Mona Lisa. But just like with regular art, I think that most of it is basically going to be worthless.
Regardless of how much you knew about NFTs, there was one message that was really clear. Behind every story, every headline, there was an underlying premise. Something is happening, and there is a lot of money to be made.
Welcome back to the show, and congrats on getting married.
Yes,
This is a big deal. Last time you were on the show, I asked you to explain NFTs.
So, popular talk show host Jimmy Fallon does this segment on his show with Paris Hilton where they show off their pictures of bored apes.
This is your
mine.
ape. We debuted.
It's really cool. Like the hat, the shades.
We're part of the same people, part of the same community.
There's something weird about this whole thing. Like, why the hell would Paris Hilton give a damn about a little stupid cartoon like that? She's basically a stuck-up rich girl with no brain. Like, what does she know about cryptocurrency? Crypto is a really complicated subject, and she was obviously just being paid to promote that situation. Why did anybody listen to that? And Jimmy Fallon, he can't even laugh realistically.
We're both apes.
I love it.
This is my ape.
Yours is so cool. I love the red heart sunglasses. I love the captain hat.
It reminded me of me a little bit. Dude, look at us.
They look like they could be friends.
They're buddies.
Definitely strange. It seems like we're living in a simulation for sure.
You start to realize that the purchase of Beeple's artwork, that wasn't done through $69.3 million in cash. That purchase was made using cryptocurrencies. In fact, all the NFT purchases that we were seeing, they were done through cryptocurrency. The mysterious individual who purchased Beeple's artwork that went by the pseudonym Metakovan, turns out it's this guy called Vignesh Sundaresan, who is already a cryptocurrency entrepreneur and had a working relationship with Beeple months prior to the big sale. And whilst there was all this talk about the revolutionary potential behind what we're seeing, there was another side of the story that was being painted by people who are far more skeptical. And those voices had a clear warning. What you are witnessing is a mania.
We've got this system that is gleefully and gloriously corrupt.
A mania that is being driven by greed.
Get rich quick by investing in cryptocurrency.
I mean, that is kind of what's going to happen whenever you have a totally unregulated market, or at least if everybody believes that it's unregulated. But there is fraud and things like this that happen in the traditional markets all the time, and it is totally regulated. After the Bernie Madoff scandal, it became even more regulated, and it still continues to happen to this day. So I don't think that this is a thing that's just native to cryptocurrency, and it's going to continue to happen because it's just human nature.
Delusion.
My ape is an inner reflection of myself.
Or, as other critics put it, it is a giant scam that has some of the largest names, brands, venture capital firms backing it, knowingly or not. And it all begins here, with a mysterious invention and a failed revolution. 2008. That's where this really begins.
Apple shares were just getting hammered this morning.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5% generally.
Yeah, it began with a traditional finance fraud. The whole system started to plummet because of all of the fraud that was overwhelming the system. It just couldn't handle it anymore. So Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin to try to make a different path for people to escape from this fraud. Cryptocurrency is supposed to set us free from all of the manipulation in the system. But like I said earlier, not all cryptocurrency projects are the same. Bitcoin should not be lumped in with all of this because it's definitely not an NFT or anything like that. As I said, there's going to be people that are going to try to copy this and manipulate the technology to take advantage and make a quick dollar. This is just human nature, and it's always going to be this way.
Sorry.
Amongst the backdrop of this all, a mysterious individual is working on their own invention. On the 31st of October, they send an email to a cryptography mailing list. The email begins, "I've been working on a new electronic cash system that's fully peer-to-peer with no trusted third party. It was signed by somebody under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto." Whoever this Nakamoto person was, they had a vision. The vision was to create a type of currency that existed digitally, that could be controlled by no government or single individual, that could be used to transacting globally no matter where you were or what time it was. The name of this currency and invention? Bitcoin. These were individuals who likely saw the government, the banks, the entire financial institution as just untrustworthy.
I mean, who the hell doesn't see the government and the big banks as untrustworthy? Anybody who has a brain or eyes can see that.
He would talk of this future vision of the world, one where the dollar no longer existed and all transactions would be made through Bitcoin, the global currency of the people that was owned by no central entity. To those early adopters of Bitcoin, they really felt like they were on the cusp of something revolutionary.
I still feel like we're on the cusp of something revolutionary, and that is still the dream of cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin. There are other cryptocurrencies like Cardano and Dogecoin and others that still do believe in that fundamental principle. But like I said, there's definitely even most of cryptocurrencies that don't believe in those fundamental principles. There's a lot of greedy people in this space, and they are trying to take advantage. But unfortunately, it is putting a dark cloud over the whole cryptocurrency space that hopefully we will break out of soon.
The more people started buying into the message, the higher Bitcoin's value rose, and the more people were willing to put real dollars into buying Bitcoins.
Bitcoin is now up to $111. I would have loved to have gotten some Bitcoin back then.
Attention from places it probably wasn't expecting or even wanting. The guys in suits, the big money, the people who saw Bitcoin as revolutionary, but perhaps more importantly, as an opportunity.
That's kind of like the situation with regulation. People didn't really want the big suits to get involved with cryptocurrency, and people don't want regulation for cryptocurrency. But it's inevitable, and it's just something that's going to happen if we're going to play with big money like this.
Bitcoin was doomed from the start. That's what a lot of crypto skeptics will tell you, and I understand why. Relying on computer code and the ideals of tech anarchists probably isn't the best place to entrust a reimagining of the financial system. Bitcoin had a fixed supply of 21 million coins, which makes it deflationary by nature. So if one Bitcoin is worth more tomorrow,
like I've said in some of my previous videos, Bitcoin isn't exactly deflationary. There's still new coins that are created every year. In the long run, it is deflationary if you count all of the coins that have been going missing or that have been burned supposedly, or that have ended up in a landfill somewhere. But inflation is really just the creation of currency, and by that definition, Bitcoin is technically not deflationary totally.
Than it is today. Why would you want to use it to transact with? It's a pretty bad incentive to have if you're trying.
But that is true. Why would you want to use it to transact with if the price is actually just going to continue going up, and the price is deflationary because it's just going to continue to be able to buy you more products, and prices compared to it is going down? Then you're just going to hold on to it and wait until those prices continue to come down to a point where you can buy a mansion and Lamborghinis and everything that we talk about in the crypto space, and then Bitcoin isn't actually being used as a real currency.
Bitcoin aimed to be decentralized, meaning no government or single entity had control over it. But in order to do that, Nakamoto employed what is called a proof-of-work consensus model. All this meant was that computers on the Bitcoin network would be forced to use real-world energy in order to solve algorithmic problems. And whichever computer solved the problem first would be rewarded with more Bitcoins. It was a process called mining, and that process is insanely wasteful of energy.
This is a really big conflict in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space about the whole proof of work being really high on energy intense. Whenever you make power and you send it to its location, if all of it doesn't get used, a lot of it goes to waste, and Bitcoin can actually use a lot of that wasted energy, especially at times like at night whenever people aren't running their whole house. and factories don't have assembly lines and things like that running. And then whenever the demand for energy goes up, then the Bitcoin mining can be ramped down on the computers that are running it in a certain location and make more energy actually available for the public. Also, Bitcoin mining has been pushing the development of graphics processing units, and that's making them more energy efficient over time, which does reduce the amount of energy that's needed for computation processes in all kinds of locations. You've undoubtedly heard about ChatGPT, which is taking the world by storm, and AI like that uses graphics processors just like Bitcoin uses to mine for cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin is actually doing us a favor by pushing for more powerful and efficient graphics processing units that we can use on a wide range of industries.
And what ends up happening? Proof of work incentivized this arms race between computers on the Bitcoin network, all of them looking to build more and more powerful computers to have a better chance of mining Bitcoin. And the more powerful those computers grew, the more real-world energy they ended up taking, despite the fact that the transactions per second remained the same. Most Bitcoin mining done today is done by huge mining farms in warehouses. Bitcoin, for the most part, failed in its objective of trying to become a global currency. Outside of illegal use purposes, Bitcoin just wasn't being used to transact with. So, the obvious question becomes, how? How is it that despite its failings, Bitcoin still survived and is very much present to this day?
I would say that it's still really in its early days. I don't think it's fair to say that it's failed as a currency because it just hasn't been adopted yet.
In the instances where you've heard about Bitcoin, or if you've ever been encouraged to buy Bitcoin, under what context is that always framed? By 2014, the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto effectively vanished from the internet and hasn't been heard from since. What was left of his invention was no longer a currency, it was something entirely different.
They say he died.
Bernie Madoff. So you realize that most of the people buying Bitcoin, they're not buying it to use as a currency, they're buying it as an investment. And therein lies the contradiction. Because the more people who used Bitcoin like an investment, the less liable Bitcoin became as a currency, the very thing it's being pitched as being revolutionary as. So you know what you end up with, right?
Bitcoin is a get-rich-quick scheme. The promise is you can get rich for free. Magical internet money.
Anyone who buys into the idea of Bitcoin is doing so to sell it for a higher price at a future date, and the people that buy it off those people are also looking to sell it for a higher price at a future date. The only way to make money from your Bitcoin investment is using the money of new investors.
You hear about people making money in Bitcoin. They only make money because some other sucker lost more.
And unlike
that's kind of how it is with anything. Even with houses, if you go and make a purchase of a house, you're mostly going to do that and try to sell it for more later. This is what investing is, but it's different than Bernie Madoff because there's not somebody who's just on the other side taking a whole bunch of money, like billions of dollars, and just living a lavish lifestyle with it without anybody knowing about it. All of the money that's cashed out from Bitcoin is right there and available on the blockchain to see for everybody. There's nothing going on behind the scenes that's scandalous or really shady, unless people are trading with leverage on exchanges and things like that. But that's a different story. That's not Bitcoin. That's a problem with exchanges.
Like Bernie Madoff, right, who gets all the blame and the satisfying jail time at the end of his story. Here you have an entity that isn't owned by anyone. What some would argue isn't a decentralized currency. It's a decentralized Ponzi scheme. Now, Ponzi schemes are kept alive by continuously finding new recruits and new markets to tap into so that money is continuously being poured into the scheme. And so you start to see this similar incentive develop in the crypto space, this desperate need to find a use case for this stuff, and that use case has to be revolutionary enough to justify its rising value. Rather than needing to create your own blockchain and network, you could just use Ethereum's blockchain to create your own cryptocurrencies, or crypto assets as people called them. These assets that existed without their own native blockchain were called tokens.
There are now over 1,500 cryptocurrencies.
It became known as the ICO mania. It was supposed to be this new way to fund your business. Businesses could create their own token coins, release what is called a white paper, which explains what the project aimed to do, and then they could sell those tokens to the public, otherwise known as an initial coin offering. ICO. A whole wave of these token coins were being released. Some of them parodies and others were just blatant scams.
Titcoin,
The Whopper coin.
Trump coin,
Kodak coin,
Insane coin.
But here it is. So I created Dictator coin.
Jesus coin was a token coin.
I mean, really, of course, there was all of these things made, and that's what the thing is with the free market. If we're actually going to have a situation where this whole thing is decentralized, then there's going to be the possibility for people to make things like Cum Rocket and Shitcoin and whatever other monkey coin or whatever. But you can probably tell if it's going to be a garbage coin if it's called something like Cum Rocket. And if you take the time to do 5 seconds worth of research and just go to their website, then it probably even will say something like that it's just a scam. And if it doesn't just say it outright, then it's going to be pretty obvious that it is one anyway. It's also legal for someone to come up to you on the street and offer you $50 if they can kick you in the nuts, but you're the stupid person if you're the one that takes it. So don't tell me that all of this is a scam whenever it's obvious that it is a scam, and you're the idiot if you're the one that lost money on it. If you come into the cryptocurrency space, probably the first thing that you're going to hear is that you need to do your own research. And if you just go on some Reddit board and hear somebody pump in some stupid coin and then you just pour a bunch of money into it and lose your whole life savings, well then honestly that's like survival of the fittest or natural selection or something. You probably deserve to lose that money, and maybe you need to learn something.
That was promising to decentralize Jesus on the blockchain. On its white paper, its creators stated they were in early talks with churches to provide miracles exclusively to Jesus coin owners. Ponzi coin was very much open about the fact that it was a scam. Their website literally said it right there. It's as much as a scam as 99% of the ICOs out there, but it's more transparent about it. Ponzi.
Exactly what I'm talking about. It says literally on the website that it is a scam, so just don't give them your money. If you give them your money, then you're an idiot. It says Ponzi scam. It's in the name.
Still managed to raise $250,000. It didn't matter if the idea was good enough or not, or if it even solved the problems it was claiming to solve.
Who cares? You can also just go stand on the corner and hold up a cardboard sign, and nobody gives anybody grief if they just give you a buttload of cash. Who cares? If someone goes out and holds up a sign and says literally, I just want to take your money, then who cares if somebody gives them any money? Just mind your own business.
No matter how fraudulent or bizarre everything looks on the outside, in the crypto world, you have to keep clutching at potential use cases or anything that will justify its value constantly rising to new investors. And whilst the ICO mania of 2017 was continuing, a whole new idea was coming to fruition.
I mean, that's kind of what it is in technology, like with technology stocks and things like that. Have you ever heard of Theranos? There's all kinds of these situations in the real world as well, but nobody just lumps the whole stock market together and says that we need to ban this or that it should all be illegal.
And today we're talking about CryptoKitties.
CryptoKitties was probably one of the first NFT projects to make it into the spotlight.
CryptoKitties.
CryptoKitties.
The viral blockchain-based game that sparked a global craze for virtual cats.
It's a picture of a cat.
You logged onto the site, you created an account that was connected to your crypto wallet, and you'd play this game in which you would collect, breed, and sell virtual cats for cryptocurrency. The key pitch here though is that every cat is its own unique token that exists on the Ethereum blockchain, making them what you would essentially call non-fungible, or as they're often called now, a non-fungible token.
That was just one of the first iterations of NFTs. Just like anything else, that's what's going to happen. In the beginning of some new technology, there's going to be all of these things that people try to come up with a use case for, and they try to sell it to the public, and 99% of them are going to go to zero, just like in the dot-com bubble.
An NFT.
Think of it like a digital Beanie Babies. Now, if that sounds a little weird, it's because it is.
Almost everyone was there to make money, but what remained of that saga was the idea of non-fungible assets. A brand new package, a brand new pitch, a new route to find use cases for cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. This stuff was initially pitched to digital artists. The idea was that you would make artwork, then tokenize that artwork, which just means turning it into a token that exists on a blockchain like Ethereum. If you wanted to know who owned...
I mean, really, the NFT artwork thing, I don't have much to argue about because I don't think that it is going to be a big part of the NFT ecosystem in the future. There is going to be NFT artwork, obviously, but like I said earlier, I just think that NFTs are going to be mostly used in like the digital commerce business, or to track physical products, or let you know what the history is of a car or a house or something, a big ticket item that you're trying to purchase.
Owned the artwork, all you had to do was just go and check the blockchain records and see.
And I do pretty much agree that most of the digital artwork that came out during the NFT craze was all pretty much a scam. Really, I thought that it was a scam back then mostly, but everybody was super hyped on it, and it kind of had me convinced that I was wrong, so I didn't say much about it. I never really was promoting NFTs because I didn't think that I understood it. I thought everybody was hyped up and I was just kind of missing something. But I always kind of felt like the NFT situation would be more suited for actual business opportunities, like verifying the authenticity of a specific product or something like that.
Now, the question becomes, who decided to make that purchase?
So you purchased a collection of 5,000 pieces of digital art that anyone can easily see online for $69 million. Why did you do that?
Metakovan, or as they were later revealed to be, Vignesh Sundaresan.
I mean, pretty much anybody can go see most famous pieces of art, but they're still worth a lot of money.
They were going to bundle their purchases of Beeple's NFTs collection and put it in a virtual museum where those who purchased the B20 token coin could access and view the artwork. Owning the B20 token was supposed to represent a type of fractional ownership in the virtual museum and the contents inside of it. Here's the thing. Metakovan and his business partner conveniently owned 59% of the total supply of B20 tokens. Beeple was also given 2% of that supply.
That's pretty typical for cryptocurrency scams, and it's honestly kind of surprising that all of this kicked off the NFT craze. But it just goes to show you the power of FOMO.
Which brings us to the apes. One of the most significant projects created after Beeple's sale was the Bored Ape Yacht Club, otherwise shortened to just BAYC. Founded by the company Yuga Labs, the project featured 10,000 different pictures of apes with this distinct bored expression on their face. The Bored Ape Yacht Club project had managed to arrive into the NFT space at just the right time, about a month after Beeple's big sale.
Yeah, the whole Bored Ape thing was seemingly pretty obvious. I mean, it was just really well executed how they had all of those celebrities involved with it, and it kind of reached mainstream adoption, and it seemed like mainstream people loved it. I don't really understand how they got all of this to go that deeply into the mainstream. And I don't really know of any NFT projects that weren't supposed to be a scam, or at least that weren't just a cash grab. I know of some that were blatantly obvious about it, and they literally just said that they were trying to make money and ride the wave of the NFT craze. But just like I said, how you can't really lump in Bitcoin with all of the shit coins, I don't think that you can lump in NFTs with cryptocurrency in general, because it's kind of a different animal that's just built off of the same thing. It's like a house cat versus a lion. They're basically both still cats, but one of them is way bigger and scarier than the other one. One of them you might not mind holding on to, and one of them might rip your face off and make you wish that you never even touched it in the first place.
One of the shadiest parts about everything that followed were the blurred lines between celebrities and influencers clearly manipulating a market to pump up the value of their NFTs, and genuine posts simply just showing off their purchases. You had Justin Bieber in January of this year posting a picture of a Bored Ape number 3001 to his 251 million followers, a purchase that was reportedly worth $1.3 million. Everyone sort of assumes that Justin was the one that made the purchase himself, right? And he's just posting it on his Instagram. But then Twitter users started to look into the records, and they find that Justin's supposed crypto wallet had received 900 Ether from another wallet address. And that...
I mean, it kind of makes sense. You guys remember Bieber Fever? If you pay these celebrities a couple $1 million to promote this product, then there's a bunch of mindless sheep that will just go out and spend millions of dollars to have something that's slightly related to some crap that these people were shilling on their social media. Of course, it's just a cash grab, but like I said, pretty much all of this is just human nature, and it's something that we're going to have to contend with going forward into the future forever, really. It's just a new iteration due to the technology that hasn't existed before.
That wallet address was associated with an individual named Gianpiero D'Alessandro, or as many others may recognize him, Justin Bieber's business partner. And Gianpiero...
Is he his brother? They look pretty much like the same person right there. They really look exactly the same. Just one of them has a dirtier upper lip than the other.
Justin Bieber's business partner, and Gianpiero owned his own NFT collection called In-Betweeners, which Bieber had been promoting on social media already. In those posts, no disclaimer was made suggesting that Bieber had been paid to promote them.
I just got my first NFT.
It's sold to you as this amazing thing where art is digitally verified on the blockchain. And that pitch makes you think that on the blockchain, when you purchase an NFT, there's literally an entry that shows your wallet and the actual image of the NFT you purchased right there. You want to know what is actually the case with most NFTs? There is no picture attached to the transaction. Instead, it's usually a HTTPS or IPFS link containing the stored NFT image. So what you're purchasing with most NFTs is just an entry in a database that contains a link to the image that anyone else can also access. A little misleading to call that ownership. But I guess at the end of the day, that doesn't matter when, just like ICOs, NFTs were just another speculative financial investment to throw your money into. And
I wouldn't consider those actual NFTs then. NFTs are supposed to be minted onto the blockchain. Here's an example. This is the first Dogecoin NFT, and it was actually minted on the blockchain by Ross Nicole, one of the head developers of Dogecoin up until last year.
On the surface, everything is supposed to be positive and optimistic. You have catchphrases and actions that are commonly used in cryptocurrency communities. HODL, short for hold on for dear life, which refers to holding on to your crypto assets no matter what. HODLing is seen as a good thing.
Today we're going to be talking about the art of the hold.
WAGMI, short for we're all going to make it, which is used as both a greeting.
This is all really just internet culture. People exaggerate everything on the internet. People aren't actually as mean as they are on the internet in real life, and the internet is basically like a crowded room where everybody's screaming together and trying to get individual attention. If you don't say something that's more parabolic than the next person, then you're not going to get noticed and you're not going to get likes and retweets. So everybody on the internet is trying to build a community, and the way that you do that is saying things like, we're all going to make it, because that makes people feel like you're together in this.
And an easy catchphrase to keep morale high.
We're all gonna make it, and I say this with passion and confidence. If you leave the market, if you give up, you will lose.
By the way, hit that subscribe button, because we're all gonna make it.
That is the ultimate failure.
We're still early is a sentiment often echoed in crypto communities and encouraging.
And don't forget to hit that like button as well.
Message for those who are both new and old in the space, letting them know that they haven't missed out on the opportunity and further riches are on the horizon. Don't abandon hope.
Is it too late to get into crypto? No, never. It's never too late. It's actually too early. It's extremely early still.
Keep diamond handing, okay?
A positive trait that is encouraged, whereas those who do sell are labeled paper hands. A negative trait, which is actively discouraged.
This is another thing. It is definitely meant to make you feel emotional and hold on to your bags while someone else can sell. But that's another really big important lesson that you need to take from investing, is that you don't want to invest on emotions. You have to do your own research, and you have to make sure that you're investing based on fundamentals and what you actually believe based on the research that you've done. Not just based off of someone telling you that if you don't buy and if you sell, then you have paper hands and you need to hold on or else you're not part of the group. This is not what investments are about, and if you do that and you don't pay attention or do your own research, then you kind of, I hate to say, but might even deserve to lose that money, and you probably just need to learn the lesson.
FUD, abbreviation for fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
We have someone that, again, is trying to spread FUD.
I just couldn't sit idly by and let people FUD my investment and FUD the leader of my investment.
Or those who criticize are told, you simply don't understand, without any further elaboration. Or they're told to have fun staying poor, which is a...
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt is FUD, and that doesn't mean that it's not true. It just means that it's uncertain and that it's going to cause fear in the cryptocurrency space. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just some new terminology that's pretty much native to cryptocurrency, and nobody seems to understand what it means.
The NFT mania did something. I think it grew so big and so in your face from influencers and celebrities that it started making people mad.
So proud. I love being a part of this community and being a voice and sharing my platform and just getting the word out there.
What community? What are you guys talking about? You don't fucking care about this. I hate that they try to put on that they care about this.
Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs, which I think are ugly, dumb.
I feel like a lot of people look up to celebrities and they expect that anything that they're endorsing, that they've gone through the research and they're using the product themselves and they actually know what they're promoting. But this isn't really the case. They're just people that are being paid. And of course they didn't do their own research. They're just trying to get a paycheck. Just like with the FTX situation, a lot of people are suing Tom Brady and Larry David and people like that were involved in the cryptocurrency commercials. But how does anybody expect these people to have the time to go through and learn what cryptocurrency is and actually go through the back papers of FTX and know that their whole situation is a scam when nobody who's actually in the cryptocurrency space could figure it out? Like, what are people thinking? This is another one of those things that continues to happen, and it has happened in the traditional markets as well. There was a .com Super Bowl back during the .com bubble, and this kind of thing is going to continue to happen throughout history. And the people that can't think for themselves and they're just sheep and they go based off of what celebrities and idols say, these are the people that are going to continue to get wrecked, and I honestly don't have any sympathy for them.
Cringe.
Thank you guys for allowing me to scream about NFT cartoons. I hate this stuff. It's getting worse.
Check this out. I got a board bunny. And not only is it a board bunny, but it looks like me. Look at that.
Nothing makes people hate you faster than NFT shilling.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project.
So the project is called CryptoZoo.
I believe is going to change the game.
CryptoZoo, Logan Paul's newest project, are basically a bunch of stock photos from Adobe that have been poorly photoshopped.
Non-fungible tokens, yes. I do know what they are, but I don't really like them at all, really. I'm not really into them. Nobody seems to like NFTs. We didn't find anybody who actually had anything positive to say about them.
Whenever a big
Yeah, NFTs did seem like a major cash grab, and then with all of the celebrities just trying to seemingly make a bunch of money off of it as well, it got to the point that it was cringe, and I think that was the time when the tide turned and everybody realized that it was a scam, and then everybody basically peeled out and the whole thing came crashing down.
Big celebrity or influencer would post something related to NFTs on their social media, you'd see a whole slew of people responding with, "Oh no, not you too." And this wasn't just limited to individuals either. Companies began getting a lot of flack for even talking about or dabbling into NFTs.
In 2021, people found out what cryptocurrency actually was and they hate it. It is all get-rich-quick schemes promoted using technology as the cover. All of it. That's what crypto is. And NFT is the latest species.
I think in June,
I would say that's true. In 2021, a lot of people realized what cryptocurrency was, and they saw that there was a lot of scams and it had gotten pretty bad in the space. Obviously, people hated that, and that caused the crash that we saw along with the Fed tightening, but that's another story. Ultimately, though, this was good for the cryptocurrency space because the ones that survive through this bear market are going to be the legitimate projects. And while the hype has died down a little bit, the space is kind of cleared up and it's a little bit easier to do your own research and seeing which projects are worth actually putting your money into. You still need to do your own research, but now it's easier to tell which ones are actually scams. And I think that this was actually really important for us so that we can go up and people will have confidence investing in cryptocurrency and we can actually reach institutional adoption as this technology starts to reach maturity.
Our mission at MoonPay is to onboard the world to Web3.
I have to admit, it's a pretty convincing narrative. The first iteration of the internet, Web 1.0, was essentially the first version of the web, mostly consisting of web pages and information. There wasn't much you could actually interact with. Then came along Web 2.0, which brought access to many new features. It focused on user-generated content.
With Web 3, I would say that it was a buzzword that basically got too overhyped because the cryptocurrency market was going parabolic at the time. And it was really just ahead of its time. I still believe that Web3 is going to be a thing, but it's going to take a few years for it to actually be developed. Eventually, we're going to be using cryptocurrency in day-to-day transactions, and we're not even going to realize that we're doing it. And this is going to be deeply integrated into the internet technology that we already have, making it a new level of internet based on how the Web 1 was a read-only situation, and then whenever they started to be able to download and upload things, and write things and blogs and upload videos, then we had Web 2. Web 3 is just going to be the next iteration of that, and I do think that it's actually going to be a real thing. We were just getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
In its initial bubble, NFTs were seen as just digital art, right? Which is quite limiting. At the end of the day, NFTs are just data on a public database that can act as a receipt of ownership over whatever that data contained. You know, whether it was a coin or it was a web link to a digital piece of art. The idea was that if NFTs could prove ownership over something, then you could put anything on the blockchain. Real estate titles, medical records, university degrees, legal records. In the case of Web3, you'd have social media sites and video games all incorporating blockchain and NFTs into their business model. It didn't really matter what it was or how it would work exactly. It just became this game of insert anything here, but on the blockchain. And just like that, you've made it revolutionary.
You've just recreated the entire mortgage infrastructure that already exists today.
On the blockchain.
But that exactly.
The blockchain in real estate is going to be pretty mainstream 5 to 10 years from now.
It is kind of just like reinventing the situation that we already have, except for it'll be more verifiable. You'll actually be able to know that this person changed the oil on their car every 3,000 miles because you'll have a verifiable, immutable transaction receipt on the blockchain that you'll be able to see. And if you go to buy a house, but the previous owners just had an inspector come out and found some termites, then that inspector can go onto the blockchain and put that information there so that the next buyer can see that and they won't have to buy it and lose a bunch of money if it hasn't actually been taken care of. Web3, NFTs, and the metaverse, and right up along with AI and everything, all of these are basically inevitable, and they are just another step in the technological evolution that we've been going through. The idea that the people in the cryptocurrency space rally behind, or at least the one that I believe in, is that hopefully we can make all of this technology decentralized so that the people will be in control of it instead of just having all of this power given to the government and corporations that don't have our interests at heart.
People suggested that you could replace legal contracts with smart contracts, which are programs that are built on the blockchain, and that's usually accompanied with the phrase code is law. This is a smart contract, and this is a legal contract. These two things aren't the same, right? You can't have law be enacted by computer code because law inherently requires third parties to assess evidence, intentions, and a bunch of other variables that you just can't outsource that to computer code, especially when that code is on the blockchain and it cannot be altered. Nicholas Weaver, a researcher and lecturer at UC Berkeley.
That's actually a really good point, and it can be altered. It'll just take another smart contract to do that, and you'll be able to see the mistake or whatever reason why it was altered there on the blockchain, because that part will be immutable. I'm not a coder, but from what I understand, as long as you write a clause in there and make sure that if you need to, then you can cancel the contract and then make some changes, then just like some code that's running a program on your device, it can be stopped. It just has to be written in the actual code or the smart contract itself.
Berkeley's Department for Computer Science has this interview with Current Affairs, and he brought up what he called Weaver's iron law of blockchain. When somebody says you can solve X with blockchain, they don't understand X and you can just ignore them. So you start to wonder, right? Who is behind all of this money that's coming and pouring into the crypto and Web3 space? Where is it coming from and why? Either I'm not seeing the revolutionary potential that all of this has, or this genuinely is a massive mania and bubble that is being fueled by greed and delusion.
I think mostly it's just going to be a new technological evolutionary step, kind of like the internet. Like, we ran businesses before the internet, but now everybody has a website and everything is basically on the internet, with brick and mortar stores almost being extinct. Just like the internet, cryptocurrency is going to make things more verifiable and more efficient, and you're going to need less people so that it costs actually less money to run a business. And it's going to open up all kinds of new opportunities that just haven't existed in the past. The only problem is we haven't really figured out how to use it right yet.
Where do I begin? Axie Infinity was what you would call a play-to-earn game. It was this new genre of games appearing in the Web3 space, which, as the name suggests, allows players to make money when they play the game. In the case of Axie Infinity, what you had was this game where people would breed, collect, and fight with these creatures called Axies. When battling inside the game, it was possible to earn this token called SLP, which could actually be traded for real money. So what started happening? Well, People started playing the game, but instead of focusing on the fun of the game, the focus became on
how to earn more SLP.
Axie Infinity, a play-to-earn crypto gaming juggernaut that has led people in countries like Philippines and Venezuela to make a living.
These are players from the Philippines who are making a living playing Axie Infinity.
Most of the scholars who couldn't afford the buy-in price, they were from developing countries, right? People who likely saw Axie Infinity not as a game of leisure, but as a means of producing income.
I am here to apply scholarship on Axie Infinity.
I want this scholarship because I want to earn more.
I can play 6 to 12 hours a day just for playing Axie Infinity.
I will treat this as a job, not just only a game.
I want to help my family on their expenses and save up money for my tuition on college.
So I want to be a scholar so that I can meet the needs of my family.
I'm not going to sit here and act like Axie Infinity was a gift to humanity or anything. A lot of people got hurt, but that's just the sad reality of new technologies. Even like with the car, back whenever it was invented, there was no such thing as seatbelts. And a lot of people died until it was made mandatory not until like the 80s, I think. And even then, a lot of people didn't wear seatbelts based on principle because they thought they were being forced to. The thing is, it was just a new technology and we didn't really know the dangers of it or how to really use it efficiently. The same thing is going on with cryptocurrency, and it is going to take some time until people actually know the dangers and learn how to deal with those dangers. But luckily, cryptocurrency isn't even as dangerous as a car because people aren't dying, people are just losing a little bit of money. And while that definitely does suck, it's just something that we're going to have to deal with if we do want to ultimately benefit from the freedom and the benefits that cryptocurrency technology will bring us in the future.
The crypto machine has continued running. New packaging of ideas, more money funneled into the system, and a constant search to find a use case that justifies the hype and the claims of revolutionary technology. If the critics are right, then what we're looking at is a ticking time bomb. If the critics are right, then this is a scheme that will leave tons of regular individuals left holding their bags wondering how this managed to happen. It already has. A scheme that managed to infiltrate the realm of media and entertainment, that managed to make use of social media's ability to spread this fear of missing out, that capitalized on greed and a get-rich-quick mentality. If the critics are right, then I suppose there's only one question that remains.
I feel like this video should have been called NFTs, the world's biggest scam, because most of it has actually just been about NFTs and how this guy doesn't understand the use cases for them or how they could actually be used in real society. And for the most part, I do agree. Like I said, most of those art NFTs were definitely scams. And I do think that NFTs are in their infancy and it's going to take some time for this technology to be developed. But when it is developed, I think NFTs are mostly going to be used to track the history and the manufacturing process of products and give you more information about the stuff that you consume. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is cryptocurrency a scam, or is NFTs just a scam? Or are we actually in the infancy of this technology and it's just going to take some time for it to be developed? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh hey, I was just being chased by a bear. Watch out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell too, because I don't want you to miss out on any important updates. And check out this video. Oh crap, I gotta get out of here.